Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for what you've been waiting for all year. We've heard your requests, and backed by popular demand, it's the 2023 Zielinski Invitational, but with a draft. I'm your host, Phil Saunders, joined as always by the consistently colorful Doug McConnell. Last year, Doug, we saw a group of determined individuals band together to put on one heck of a performance using some very raw hockey abilities. That's right, Phil, and we're expecting more of the same this year, but with a few new faces. The scouts from both teams last year went out and recruited to get more height, more speed, more glove-dropping ability, and more medical students. And that's not all that's new. This offseason, our Invitational saw the foundation of two soon-to-be storied franchises, the Incredibles and the Agitators. Today, these rival organizations will draft from a talented pool of players in order to determine teams for the 2023 Zielinski Invitational. But before we send it down to the commissioner for the first pick, let's meet our captains. Captaining the Incredibles, we have Nick Zielinski, a young, handsome, athletic, charming prospect hailing from Allentown, Pennsylvania. When it comes to skills, he has them all. Sure does, Phil. He's certainly not lacking in the confidence department. And in a game like this, confidence is everything. A split second of hesitation in a game like hockey can make a really big difference. I'll tell you though, that confidence may also be his biggest weakness as well. We saw a number of times last year where he let his guard down trying to nutmeg opposing players right in front of his own net. He'll have to keep that confidence in check, but overall, a very strong prospect. And captaining the Agitators, we have the veteran John Zielinski. A true student of the game, he's been participating in these kinds of games since the 70s. It's safe to say he knows a thing or two because he's seen a thing or two. That's right, Phil. With such an incredible wealth of experience, there's no questioning his position as captain of this team. You do have to hope, though, that as he keeps tallying games on his body, that he'll be able to stay healthy. We'll have to see if the Incredibles look to draft a bruiser early in order to limit his involvement in this one. And with that, let's go down to the commissioner who looks like he's ready to get this draft underway. Hello all, and welcome to the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft. Let's get things underway. With the first pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select Carissa Walkasak from Sydney Kimball Medical College. Well, no surprises here. Absolutely not. This seemed like the obvious pick leading up to the draft. Given her performance last year and her wealth of medical knowledge as a medical student, she's an obvious first selection. That's right, Phil. Last year she was really able to showcase bursts of speed out on the ice, seamlessly navigating past her competition to score goals both close to and far from the net. It's also worth mentioning that she was a significant defensive presence as well. She definitely helped shut down the other team for the majority of the game. Drafting her definitely guarantees having one of the best two-way players out on the ice. That being said, you do have to worry about her size in relation to the rest of the field. Absolutely. This field of players definitely has a couple taller, larger bodies that will be looking to physically impose their will. We'll have to see how that comes into play, especially with her limited reach. And with that, we'll send it down to the commissioner to get the first pick from the Agitators. And with their first pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Julie Zielinski. Another strong pick to open this draft. Absolutely. And with this pick, the Agitators gained an absolute assassin. She was able to find the back of the net 3 times in the game last year, and I see no reason to expect any less from her this year. You said it, Doug. She really handed in an impressive offensive display a year ago. And more impressive than that, her game didn't have any glaring areas to improve. It's also worth mentioning that her skills extend beyond the ice. She's a wonderful mother for one handsome young man and Adam Zielinski. Truly worth the first pick for the Agitators. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select Greg Wall from the University of Notre Dame. Well, Doug, we talked about it during the pregame. The Incredibles need to find a way to mitigate the impact of John Zielinski by drafting a bruiser, and that's exactly what they've gone out and done here. That's absolutely right. With this pick, the Incredibles add someone with boxing experience to their roster. In this field of players, if you want someone who is ready and capable of dropping the gloves, this is simply the pick you have to make. He's done plenty of damage in the ring with gloves on. You definitely don't want to mess with him in the rink where he can take the gloves off. That being said, he does have a shorter wingspan compared to some of the other competitors in the field, so to use his hands, he'll have to close the distance. I don't foresee that being too much of a problem, though. For his sake, I hope it's not. Looks like the next pick is in. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Kelsey Murray from Cooper Medical School of Rowan University. Well, they needed an immediate response to the bruiser, and they got one here by drafting a medical student. Personally, I like the strategy. Keep players out on the ice by drafting a medic. And more than just a medic, the fiancé of the bruiser. Great pick from the Agitators. I couldn't agree more, and on top of what you just said, she's grown up around the game. Her mom is very knowledgeable on hockey and knows her way around a rink, and I can't tell you how much it pays to be around the game from a young age. The one downside with this pick is her skating ability, which is unfortunately a big part of our game. We'll have to see how much of a role that plays in hindering her skills out on the ice. Looks like the Incredibles had their response prepared. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select a package deal of Andrew Flick and Rachel Brodsky. A package deal? Is that allowed? Well, in an interesting turn of events, the Incredibles get 2 picks. Let's start with Andrew Flick. This pick really showcases some of the height available in this year's draft, and I'm starting to notice a trend of gathering physically imposing picks on the side of the Incredibles. You're absolutely right, Phil. By drafting Andrew and Greg, the Incredibles have solidified a solid physical presence on the ice. And let me tell you, from watching some of Andrew's tape from soccer, I've learned he's not afraid to just put his body on the line. He's the definition of someone who's willing to just go for it, and it always seems to work out for him. I couldn't agree more. He'll definitely be a strong asset for the Incredibles if they can actually get him out on the ice, because his biggest weakness is his ability to consistently be there. They say the best ability is availability, and over the years, Andrew Flake Flick has definitely earned his nickname. I once heard he said, "My attendance at Cafe Wednesday will be a lot better this month," and then proceeded to never show up ever again. Actually, I've just gotten word that the Incredibles have officially changed Andrew's status to questionable, and he will be a game time decision. Classic. And with that news, let's switch over to the Incredibles' other pick, who may be late, but is more likely to be there, Rachel Brodsky. With this pick, the Incredibles really acquired a strong game planner, someone who always thinks ahead and comes prepared. And more than just a strong game planner, her luck is crazy. I've never seen someone win so many hands of poker on the last card in my life. Her answer to the age-old question, would you rather be lucky or good, is most definitely, why not both? Those are some strong reasons to draft her, but let's take a second to discuss her weaknesses. Her primary downside is her durability, which may be a problem given contact with others out on the ice. But this weakness goes beyond just contact with others out on the ice. The Incredibles might have to wrap her in bubble wrap just to get her to the game. In addition to durability, Rachel sometimes struggles to be on time, which could be a significant problem in hockey where a split second can make all the difference between scoring a goal and being left behind on the ice. If the Incredibles can get her on the ice and on time, watch out, she could be a dangerous pick. With the package deal of both Rachel and Andrew now on the Incredibles, let's see how the Agitators respond. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Sean Coulter from Lehigh University. Well, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it pays to get an instigator. Someone who knows how to get under the skin of the opposing team. And that's exactly what the Agitators have gone out and done here. I mean, he's a nuisance. A real annoying person. Just look at him. That's an annoying face. Sure is, Phil. But being annoying isn't all he's good for. He's got a good sense for the game, a keen eye for passing lanes, and a knack for knowing where to be and when. The only thing holding him back is his ability to actually get to those spots. As we saw last year, he's not the strongest skater on the ice. If he can keep his skates under himself, he'll have a real chance to be an impact player in this game. From one impact player to the next, let's see who the Incredibles select with their next pick. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select Mason Maxim from Jacksonville University. Though not typically talked about for his hockey abilities, Mason Maxim is a raw athlete. He attends Jacksonville University as a member of their Division I lacrosse team. With this pick, the Incredibles are really counting on his strong foundation of coordination and athleticism. That's right, Phil, and that's not all. We had time to catch up with some of Mason's collegiate lacrosse teammates, and they confirmed that he is indeed a strong shaft handler. I expect his shaft handling abilities to play a major role both on and off the lacrosse field, and to be one of his keys to success on the ice. I look for him to find success in this game handling the wood. Couldn't have said it better myself, Doug, but we do need to acknowledge some of the setbacks that come with this pick. To start, he's not the man you want calling the shots. He's not known for his intellectual prowess. He's the kind of guy to turn the lights off in the bathroom and try to find the toilet in the dark. Talk about taking a shot in the dark. On top of not being the sharpest skate on the ice, he has a hard time even getting out on the ice with his history of injuries. An injury kept him from playing last year, and this year he's listed between questionable and doubtful due to an injury again with a microfractured tibia. Just like the salesman in SpongeBob, he appears to be born with glass bones and paper skin. Clearly his parents didn't make him drink enough milk as a kid. All that being said, we hope to see him out on the ice and proving us wrong in the near future. Let's send it back to the commissioner for the next pick in the draft. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Ben Wada from Georgia Tech. Well, Doug, we're moving from an intellectually challenged pick to one with a higher academic pedigree. Ben embodies the definition of a smart pick. He was valedictorian of his high school, and he's now a strong engineer who's quick to understand the most effective tactics available in any situation. Look for him to be able to make adjustments to the game plan on the fly. I expect him to be a quarterback of sorts out on the ice. Agreed, and on top of that, he's a self-reported strong skater. We don't have any footage to confirm or deny these claims, but it should be mentioned that he now owns his own pair of skates. If he's able to move his skates as fast as he moves his mind, I think the Incredibles are in for a long night. But we do need to acknowledge his one weakness: women. Unfortunately for Ben, we have more than a couple lady prospects that will be taking the ice this year, so he'll have to find a way to compete with and against them without freezing up. Looks like the Incredibles have a fast response to this pick. Let's see who they draft. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select Sarah Parsley from Georgia Tech. Well, Doug, the Incredibles clearly saw the same weaknesses in the last pick that we did and are looking to capitalize. But she's more than just a weakness for the other team. According to sources close to Sarah, she's a very gifted skater. I'm expecting her to be an asset to both the offense and the defense, and wouldn't be surprised if she broke a couple ankles along the way. You said it, Phil. A strong skater goes a long way to the success of any team in our game, and she's got the mindset of a winner. She isn't afraid to take risks and try something new. And what's more, she puts off big, "I'm bringing the orange slices for halftime" vibes. Look for her to lift the spirits of the Incredibles and for them to come out of intermissions rejuvenated. A presence like this in the locker room can really improve the performance of everyone around her. On top of her strengths, her only known weakness is her taste in men. A very strong pick from the Incredibles. And with that, let's send it back to the commissioner. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Ethan Parsley from Virginia Tech. Well, Doug, speaking of the weaknesses in Sarah's life, here he is. Not so fast, Phil. Just like Sarah, Ethan is an absolute joy to have on your team and will definitely lift the spirits of the locker room. On top of that, he shows strong commitment to the game both on and off the ice. Before our game last year, he went out and bought himself a Las Vegas Knights jersey. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want that energy on their team? Speaking of energy, he's got it by the boatloads. He finished his first half marathon in a time of less than 2 hours. Look for him to have the endurance to make an impact later in the game. We're also getting reports that he's been getting reps in of the virtual hockey game Slapshot Rebound. That being said, until I see improvement with my own eyes, I can only judge what we have on tape. And he may be a professional at video game hockey, but how will that translate to real life hockey? Last year he took a couple spills. If he could stay upright more this year, I think he'll have a better chance to be more influential in our game. And with that, it looks like the next pick is in. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select JB Script from Fresno State. Wow, an absolutely shocking pick here. The Agitators are a franchise rooted in the fundamentals of trash talk and getting under the skin of the opponent. And yet somehow, the biggest trash talker of last year's game has been drafted by the Incredibles. It's not very often that I'm left speechless, but I truly don't know what to say. This seems like a pick to attempt to agitate the Agitators and beat them at their own game. Beyond the obvious trash-talking implications of this pick, the Incredibles just added another player to the roster who you know will bring the energy. There are 3 things certain about this game. There will be ice, there will be pucks, and JB will be hyped to play. It's another strong play by the Incredibles to boost team morale and locker room chemistry. Unfortunately for JB though, the game goes beyond just trash talk and actually needs to be played. Here's some of his highlights from a year ago.
Look, I be riding through my old hood, but I'm in my new whip. Same old attitude, but I'm on that new shit. They say they gon' ride me, see me never do shit, cause they know that's the reason they gon' end up on the news clip. Audemars on my wrist, bust down. We popping bottles like I scored a winning touchdown. Remember me dead broke, look at me up now. I run my city from South Philly back to uptown.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
And with that, let's send it back to the commissioner. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Tyler Maxim from Moravian University. Well, here's a pick that really showcases the size available in this year's draft. Tyler Maxim is an absolute unit and a force to be reckoned with. Standing at 6'7" and offensive lineman weight, he'll be hard to stop if he ever gets a full head of steam going. But he's more than just a big body. He's a student of the game. He's been in the film room. He recorded last year's game and is well aware of the strengths and weaknesses of every player. They say elephants don't forget, and with his minor in history, best believe this behemoth doesn't forget the past. Couldn't have said it better myself. The only downside to a player this large is finding skates that fit size 17.5 feet. If you can get him on the ice, he's sure to be a force to be reckoned with. What's that? We've just gotten word that Tyler Maxim has acquired a set of skates and looks like he'll have the equipment necessary to play this year. The Incredibles better watch out. Speaking of the Incredibles, it looks like their next pick is in. And with the next pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Incredibles select Griffin Maxim from Jacksonville University. Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's a pick that's sure to bring energy to the locker room. The scouting report on Griffin says he's never had a bad day in his life. He's always in a positive mood and knows how to lift the spirits of those around him. Not only that, but his positive attitude can really lift a team to battle adversity. Definitely a strong addition to the locker room. That's right, Phil, and that's not all. Griffin's skills extend out onto the ice as well. In last year's game, he was able to stifle the opposing team's offense for a good portion of the game, locking down both Nick and Carissa on a number of occasions while keeping the scoring to a minimum throughout the first half. I mean, look at that form. He's definitely not afraid to put his body on the line and give it all to protect the goal. He's definitely not afraid to put his body on the line, but sometimes he's perhaps too quick to go to the ice, whether intentional or not. Something he'll have to improve on from last year was his ability to skate and focus on the puck. We saw the wheels come off a number of times last year when he got near the puck, and that's unfortunately a big part of our game. On top of multitasking, he's simply not a physically imposing presence on the ice. Standing at approximately 4 feet tall, he'll struggle to deal with taller, larger attackers such as John Zielinski and Tyler Maxim. Though this wasn't a major problem in last year's game, the opposition has gotten larger and faster. We'll have to see how that pans out on the ice. Now on to the commissioner for the final pick of the draft. And with the final pick of the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft, the Agitators select Adam Zielinski from Virginia Tech. This final pick really showcases how strong this field of players is. With this pick, the Agitators gain a well-rounded athlete. Adam has experience across a wide range of sports, including soccer, basketball, and tennis, in addition to hockey. This experience has definitely developed a strong sense of coordination in both his upper and lower body. And that coordination and athleticism comes from his strong work ethic. This is a player who's willing to go the extra mile to improve his skills, whether it be attending additional public skating sessions or working on strategies while playing slapshot rebound. Adam is always looking for ways to bring something new and improved to the table for his team. Well, he'll have to be looking to bring something new and improved to the defensive end of the game this year, because last year, the holes in his defensive game were certainly exploited. As you can see here, he works to get back on defense, but lacks the coordination to stay on his feet and impede his opponent in a meaningful way. Let's see that a few more times. On top of his lack of defensive ability, he's known to be a bit of a weenie. A bit of a weenie. This man only eats at Weenie Hut Juniors and Taco Bell. If he ever tried to enter the salty spittoon, he'd slip on a piece of ice and require medical attention. Unfortunately, slipping on ice is something he appears to be very familiar with. And with that, our draft is complete. Let's take a look and see how these teams stack up. Well, Doug, at first glance, these teams seem very evenly matched to me. Both teams have size, speed, enforcers, skill players, medics, and goons. I'm not sure what else you could ask for in a game. My immediate reaction is that the Agitators have more experienced players returning from last year's game. They have 6 players that either played or attended last year's game, whereas the Incredibles only have 4 players with experience. I hear what you're saying, Phil, but I have only one thing to add. The Agitators, simply put, do not want the smoke. The Incredibles roster has been meticulously crafted and is well-rounded and balanced in all facets of the game. They're fast, they're mean, they're attractive. In my professional, objective, unbiased opinion, and I mean no disrespect to any of the Agitators players when I say this, the Incredibles team is simply built different. And I just don't think the Agitators will be able to hang with them. Well, Doug, I guess we'll have to wait and see on the ice December 30th. From our whole team here, thank you for tuning in to the 2023 Zielinski Invitational Draft. I'm Phil Saunders, that's Doug McConnell, and we'll see you December 30th.